Welcome back to the channel. Today, working on the Chevrolet. Not too thrilled about it. This sucker didn't want to start the other day, and at first I thought it was the clutch sensor switch thing, and then I jumped it with a wire and it still didn't want to start. So now we think it's the starter solenoid, but technically it's easier to just do the whole starter on this thing. So we're gonna hop under there hopefully and pull out the starter. In theory, hopefully all goes well. I already disconnected the battery here, so I didn't zap myself a bunch of times, which is going to be a plus because it isn't a really fun thing to do. And then should just be 2 bolts to drop it. It shouldn't be a big deal. I didn't put the mounting bracket that you're supposed to put on there, so it is just the 2 bottom bolts. Then it should hopefully slide out. Hopefully I don't have to pull the sleeve, because that would be unfortunate to get the starter out. But hey, another day, another nickel. Let's get to work. Got our nice headlight in here. Over here is the starter. As you can tell, there's this wire we gotta take off. That's the positive off the battery. Thankfully the battery's disconnected, so we won't have to zap ourselves yet. Then hopefully, I think there's just one more wire in there that we gotta disconnect, and then sucker should pop out. This is all in theory. I have no clue. I wonder if I could fit this wrench on there. I'll be back. Always good when first try you get the right socket. I don't know if you guys can see that in there, but whatever. 5/8 is that bolt. I brought a 9/16 in case, but it wasn't a 9/16. 5/8. Now hopefully this ratchet will fit on there and we can just get her off, and we'll go from there. We got the power off, thankfully. Thankfully it's not attached, because I just slammed it against every metal piece possible down here. We're just gonna hit it a few more times just to be safe. Yeah, we're safe. Now, I believe I gotta take off this wire here, which doesn't look fun at all. Alright, well, I'll catch back up with you guys after. Hopefully I get this one off. Hopefully. Another thing is, thank God I have body lift in here, so I can just fit my whole head and shoulders, knees and toes in this area. Otherwise, I'd have to pop off this tire, take off the inner fender, and it wouldn't be too much fun. So, saved a few steps on that one. So the small ratchet was a 7mm. I don't know if it was actually supposed to be a 7mm, but hey, it fit on and it worked. The small bolt is out. Got that wire disconnected. That was this one right here. Hi! And then I got this one out over here. I believe that is all the wires that go to the starter. Just those 2. This one's for like the ignition, so it knows when to start. And then it's got power. Yeah, and then it's grounded through the bolts. So, if I know anything, now I could probably start. Now, come under here, smack those bolts out, hopefully, in theory, and we should have this starter out of here in no time. Let's see. So underneath the truck here is the starter, and the starter bolts. There's one. There's a second one over there. Now, unfortunately, this truck's an Emmanuel, so I have to pull out the clutch sleeve, probably, to get out the starter, which is rather unfortunate. So we're going to do it the wrong way and start unwrenching them bolts, hopefully. I think I have the wrench set the right way, and they're not spinning. So I'm going to do the wrong thing and grab my jack pole, which is somewhere under here, so I don't have to get back up. Yep, my jack pole. Because I ain't got none of them fancy Milwaukee guns. So I just do it the right way with the nice jack pole. Let's see how this goes. Fun fact, about a year ago, I snapped these bolts trying to start the truck. Somehow, they just snapped off. Rather unfortunate, but that happened. And I know for a fact, yep, they're the new ones. This one has bit of oil, but we just don't look at the oil underneath the truck. But we can look at is this nice new transmission. Very nice. So it wasn't fun to get it started, but once it got started, now it's moving nice. It's always that first little crack that really scares you a bit. Thinks you're gonna break the bolt, but yeah, no, she's loosening. That jack pole is my best friend. I love you, jack pole. You always treat me right. So I got the second bolt loose now. Now they're just spinning in there. Almost do it by hand. No, not quite. So basically, in theory, give me back. So now that the starter's loose, just jiggling around in there, I love that. We're gonna try to pop off this clutch sleeve. The clutch sleeves on these trucks are closed, whatever. And this is just a little pumper that goes through there, so I should be fine just pulling this out. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I'm just gonna do it anyway. So meow, I got the sleeve out of the kabobble here. Now I'm gonna finish loosening those bolts and pull. Oh, got rust in my eye already. So now we're gonna finish loosening those bolts, and then hopefully that starter will just kiss me in the forehead, which should be nice. I appreciate that. At least it didn't hit me directly in the forehead. My hand blocked it, so that's good. This was a relatively new starter. I had this duct tape on it from when it fell out, so it didn't short everything out. But we're gonna keep this starter and hopefully clean her up. Have her as a backup, since this thing goes through starters like there's no tomorrow. Got our new starter right here. Genuine Rock Auto parts. Gotta love Rock Auto. This one should work. I say that because this is solid. Unlike this one over here, that's not solid. Shouldn't be able to do that. So, meow, you're gonna take this Johnson, toss her up in there, throw back in the clutch sleeve, and then hopefully, in theory, it's gonna start magically. And then I can take all this trash to the dumpster, because this thing's starting to fill up with garbage, and it's not pleasant to smell when you walk by it to get into your actual running vehicle. Let's go. All right, starter's in, pretty tight as it's gonna get. Now I gotta find the 13mm I lost and tighten up this clutch sleeve here. Should be a good time. And then put the wires on the starter, hook up the battery terminal, and then hopefully crank her over, and she'll hopefully start. I don't want to say probably, because with my luck she won't. Got the clutch sleeve in and the starter back in. Now I just gotta wire it up. Unfortunately, I just had a bunch of rust fall in my eye, so I'm gonna go get a water bottle and just rinse that out real quick. But throw together the wires onto the studs or whatever, and hopefully hook her up, and should be almost ready to go, in theory. Got these wires back here hooked up, I think. I hope. So now, all I gotta do is hook up the battery, and then hopefully do a sniff test, make sure there's no fire, and then hopefully start her up. So let's see how that goes. Battery terminal hooked up. Time to test her out. Let's see. Still got my clutch switch bypass in there, but let's see. Well, that worked. That's awesome. So we got her to crank over now, which is something I didn't have before. It would just simmer before. That smokes because I didn't let the glow plugs warm up, and it's a cold start feature. Yep, that's what that smells like. Oh, nice. Whew. Okay. Thrilled. I am thrilled that that was the problem. Thank goodness. Let's go. So originally, I thought that this sensor on the back of the clutch pedal up here was the issue. Obviously not. But anyway, I jumped it. So now I don't have to push down the clutch when I start it. I don't like doing that because my luck, I'll start it in gear and let her roll down the hill or whatever, or hit the car in front of me. So we're going to plug that Johnson back in and then start her up for you guys. Let you guys hear this thing roar. A little startup for you guys. That's the jumper wire. She's mint. A little cold start too. I haven't started this thing in almost a week now. Woohoo! Start it right up. Let's go. Let's go. Thanks for watching. Thankfully, I was able to fix this old gem here. Just a silly starter situation going on there. I'm guessing the solenoid or whatever was jammed up on the old one, and thankfully the new one has a good solenoid on it. So we're mint now. Sucker will start. Now I can drive it to work, and I can move the heap out of the way and drive a real vehicle. Get all this trash out of the bed too. Hopefully not stink anymore, because this thing smells awful with all the garbage in the bed of it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video, and hopefully it doesn't involve this truck, because I really don't like working on this thing. It makes me sad. It makes me happy to drive it though.